Good morning everybody, this is Paradox2767, and today I wanted to show you how to build a Lego Mirror of Erised from Lego Harry Potter. And not just any mirror, but one that both functions and fits into Lego's new Hogwarts modular system. This specific mirror, when Ron comes closer to it, actually spins so that he can see not just his own reflection, but himself in the future, where he's head boy holding the Quidditch cup. This whole mock got a lot of inspiration from Lego set 4702. It was a set I had when I was a kid, and it basically featured Harry Potter and Voldemort / Professor Quirrell facing off in front of the Mirror of Erised as well. And in this version, you would have a lenticular sort of panel in the back, and that was how they did the mirror, where Harry's 1 minute not holding the stone and next minute he is. And then when you'd flip this whole set over, you'd have a Sorcerer's Stone for him to have magically. So I got a lot of inspiration from that, but of course not being able to make a lenticular panel or what have you, I just had to do it the old-fashioned way, which I'll show you how to do in just a sec. Also got a lot of inspiration from a Brick Dreamer, who's I think my absolute favorite Lego creative on YouTube right now, and he does a lot of Lego dioramas with a limited amount of space, especially for the CMF series as they come out, and that is worth checking out. He's awesome, so I appreciate him a lot for the inspiration. And without further ado, let's check this out. So we're going to want to start with a 8x12 plate. I've got one here I just had to make out of a few different pieces, but this size ensures that it's going to fit with the Modular Hogwarts sets that have been coming out most recently. For this specific set, I added a little bit of a patterning starting on the floor. This is where Ron's going to stand, and if you can imagine it, this entire piece is going to be the reflection of the Mirror of Erised. Another thing you're going to want to add to your base here right off the bat is two of these little pieces, these like double hole pieces. They go in the rear, because as it's clicking into the rest of your Lego Hogwarts castle, it'll want those to catch the pins that are in the rest of the sets, and that'll pin it in place. Technically, I'm also at this distance, I'm supposed to have a couple of rails to catch on the Hogwarts Castle modular sets, but that would be great for you to add. I didn't have them in the right colors, and I thought the set looked cleaner without them, so it's just a little more wiggly when we're setting it into the rest of the Lego Hogwarts Castle. So you start with that base, and then you make sure you have these pin pieces, and then other than that, you're going to want to... I started, like I said, a patterning here on the floor, and then we're going to build the floor of the reflection, if that makes sense. So we're going to do it off of the same patterning, and then hopefully it'll look a bit like it's going to be looking at a reflection when you see it all together. Now, to be honest, a lot of this gets covered with a lot of the props and pieces that we have coming up, but it's nice to know that, you know, when stripped down, if no one's in the room in front of the Mirror of Erised, it indeed has a reflection, because you're standing here and you're seeing yourself standing there on the same colored pattern. So we start with that. That's our base, and then because it's still so accessible, I'm going to want to put all of the different pieces that comprise the reflection. So to separate the two different sides of the reflection, I didn't want to use too much of this valuable, 6 across space with a backing, so I decided to use these doors because that's much thinner than, it would otherwise be. So I'm going to be basically building the future Rons, the hopeful future Ron section on this side, and then the current Ron section on this side, because we need much less space for his basic reflection. And so I have the hinges facing this way, so that gives us a little bit more depth to play with future Ron. One of the most important pieces of this whole set is this centerpiece I made with a couple Lego barrels and some gold. I don't know if it's like prize money, hypothetically, for Ron's doing so well in Quidditch. And then just a tall pin with a little grabber so you can spin it yourself. So that goes right into the center of the whole piece. And you can see now, it makes it very easy to spin around. So that works well. So that's how we start. Now there's another barrel of gold, just to add a little intrigue over here for futuristic Ron successes. So that'll go here. So I picture Ron like looking forward to a life where he doesn't have to stress about money like he might in his current situation, being a Weasley, I guess. And so that's one of the reasons I included that. Then we're going to have his... on just a basic broom from my time in Harry Potter Legos, and a simple tube piece just to connect his Quidditch broom right there. So that'll be in the background of his reflection. Let's make sure these barrels are down firmly. They seem to be. Okay. And then we also have, just for some background, a lot of this is also going to get lost because of Ron being so far in the foreground. We're going to have a little a light there. And then I also added this old-fashioned Lego spider piece from another Lego Harry Potter set, because in my head, in Ron's hopeful future, he won't be afraid of spiders. So I'll add this little flame piece here. That'll go there, just kind of like a magic-looking flame. And then we also, of course, have to add Ron himself. So this is a tall, futuristic Ron holding the Quidditch cup, looking like head boy, looking like the man on campus you want to hang out with. So I'm going to put that there. I have his cape going slightly to this side so that you can have a little bit more of a view of that gold. And then very simply, we can do the other Ron. That's the current Ron. He'll just stand right up front here, staring at his reflection. Nothing too fancy about that. And then, of course, Ron himself here is going to be standing here. But first, let's get the rest of the room built. So, for these side walls, in order to keep this able to spin freely, we needed to utilize some of these panels where they're, for one, that's nice because the build becomes quite quick. For two, it allows a little negative space within the brick there for our turning to take place. So we're going to want one of those on either side, and then the back and the front is going to be left pretty much open so that won't bump into things. Had it been a solid wall, for instance, these hinge pieces would be bumping in and it wouldn't spin. So I'm going to add some quick pillars for some structure. These are just some simple pillars I'm going to throw onto those other pieces we already have. I'll need a little of the same structure right here. And then we're going to add these pillars, or these, I should say, cut out bricks like this. Make sure that clicks in well. So that's one side. Throw another side here. I have the height of this set just so that it would fit into any of the modular Hogwarts pieces. So hopefully you can see that well. And then I've got an identical piece on the front and back, just these simple archways with a little detailing on top. So we'll click one in front of Ron and one in front of future Ron. And that's the bulk of this structure. So it's like a little tiny Lego chapel or something, if you will. And so we've got an access panel here if you ever wanted to change anything out about his, futuristic viewpoint of himself. But other than that, it's quite just a simple box. And then one of the last things we got to add is, of course, the mirror itself. So I just basically just think of it as a fancy doorway, and added a couple greebles and some fancy little pieces so it looks like it's a nice carved piece of wood. That we click right in front of Ron. And then last but of course not least, Ron himself. So that when he's standing here, it looks pretty much like he's looking at his reflection. And then when he steps a little closer to the mirror, we get a view of his hopeful side of things. And depending on the lighting, it gets you a little easier to see the gold in there and then the cup that he's holding. But the important parts, aka like a tall, handsome Ron and the cup in his hands, those are still seen. So this is just one idea. I thought it was a really fun way to add to an existing set you might have, because it is so modular. You could add this to any existing Harry Potter sets. And there's a few different ways to do this too if you don't have all these different pieces. So for instance, the Ron that's looking in the mirror, there's no, technically mine are identical, but if you don't have two of the same outfit, this is, anyway, an approximation of the pajamas he's wearing in this scene. It's not even remotely close, to be honest. So it doesn't, by any means, have to be the same two chest pieces. You could use any two chest pieces, and you don't even have to use a Ron face here if you don't have an extra. So there's definitely a few ways to trick this one. And even here, if Ron's seeing himself in the future and you don't have an extra Ron face, why don't you just use an Obi-Wan face and have him be strapping and bearded? Or, another funny way to do this might be, I've got the yellow version of Ron here because I just have more of that era of Lego Harry Potter brick, but you could also make his young version be yellow, but he's looking forward to being older, and when he's all grown up, he's all of a sudden like pale and tan like the newer Ron pieces, because that'll be him in the future of Lego too. So a couple of different ways to do that. So now I wanted to show you how it fits into Lego's current Hogwarts setup. This is set 76447. I just picked it up and built it a few days ago. Shout out to my in-laws who gave me a Lego gift card. So I told my wife I'm treating myself and getting my first Lego for myself in many, many years. So this is the one I decided to choose. Well, it's a side tangent. I just think this is a really, really fun set. So I'll show you this set briefly, but then I'll show you how the new one we just built together fits into it so well. So there's a lot of different play features. This is kind of the front of the set, I would say, when it's closed, because on the other sides, there's an open back, and here there's like the castle top of a wall in an awkward place. So it doesn't really make sense unless you're seeing it from this angle. When it is closed, there's a lot of play features. This is in my setup right now, Oliver Wood's practicing a little Quidditch with his professor up on top, but then it also opens up. So you get, when you do open it up, a nice sort of a suggestion of a courtyard, which is where they're having their Quidditch lessons in the first movie. There's a couple play features here where Lego and Malfoy can chase each other. This is where Neville Longbottom hits the spear, falls down, hits this little thing, and then eventually drops to his doom. And then in the back, this is where we get some of the modular pieces. So these rooms are designed to be able to be interchangeable with other different rooms. So, for instance, there are sets that right now, I think there's a Wingardium Leviosa class that they're selling. And when it folds up to this exact same footprint. And then you are able to slide it in any different opening of any Hogwarts castle set that you have. I think there's only a few castle sets so far where they're actually providing the place to slide them. I think the Great Hall and this one maybe. So this is a better, cheaper price tag if you ever did want to start building up on a castle. I'm not intending to buy any more Lego sets unless I get another gift card, but that's their idea. So in this specific set, it comes with a Quidditch setup. So there's all the different types of balls and instruments that you'll need to play Quidditch. Some of mine are missing because Oliver Wood is, like I said, he's practicing right now. So I think that's a quaffle maybe that the professor has in her hands. And then this set is a Transfiguration class with McGonagall. There's a reference to the second movie here when she's turning a bird into a water goblet. So, and then with the set comes 6 minifigures, which I would say is a lot, even though it's quite an expensive set. I think it was $80 for 651 pieces. You get a lot of minifigures. So McGonagall's teaching the class. There's Harry and Neville in the front, and then Malfoy, who's looking to the side because he's very interested in Neville's Remember All, which is now red because Neville forgot where he left the thing. You should just look behind him. So anyway, that is how this modular building works. I'll give you another peek at this set. Not to be like a total salesman, but I really did like how this set came together. That is, down here is the trophy room where Hermione takes Harry and Ron to show Harry the, fact that being good at Quidditch is in his blood, which is kind of funny because, the whole blood fiasco. Here I have a collectible minifigure right now, Tasha, because I also got that from my in-laws, and she's, currently switching out an inkwell for McGonagall's as some sort of spy technique. Coming back to her alma mater. She's from D&D, but, in my headcanon, she's back at her alma mater giving enchanted inkwell to McGonagall so that she can go back home, and when McGonagall writes, so too does Tasha's, magical one, and she'll be able to see what McGonagall's writing. Anyway, now for the lead, or the most, the big debut of this modular system. So here is our Mirror of Erised, and you slide it right here. So with that 8 by 12 distance on any of the modular kind of classrooms you want to make, it should slide right in here. And then those holes that we included will fit into the pins, so it makes it quite sturdy once it's actually in. So it comes in quite neatly. Here Ron's looking at his hopeful reflection. You of course lose out on a little bit of the play feature. You can't spin it while it's in here, but same with McGonagall's class. You have to take it out and play with it. So it's more of like a play set take on the Hogwarts castle that it is, just a pure Hogwarts castle. You got to kind of open it, disassemble, but it's something I really like. So anyway, I really hope you got your creative juices flowing looking at this one. Like I said, you get the 8 by 12 base with these holes for the pins to catch so that it matches all the other bases. And then if you get these fins, you're even doing better than I am as far as getting really secured inside this Harry Potter modular system. And it's a great way to think of creative ways to reference the films or the books in your own mods. So anyway, if you ever make your own, please leave a comment on what kind of other ideas you'd have for a possible, 8 by 12 mock. I'm pretty much out of tan pieces just making this one in my collection, so I probably won't make any more myself, but I'd love if I inspired anyone to do their own. So thank you so much. That again was Ronald Weasley in front of the Mirror of Erised, and I'll see you in the next random video.